Hello everyone, today I wanted to give you a little taste of Yu-Gi-Oh! A Legacy of the Duelist. It is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, playing the PlayStation 4 version here. And it's, the first of its kind, obviously on the current systems. I haven't played anything Yu-Gi-Oh! Related in probably 10 years, so I didn't really know what to expect, really. I don't really understand, I know there's new cards, obviously, but there's even new rules and all that. So in this game, you kind of start out, as you can see here, we're going through the story mode, and this is the story of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Show. And they have all 5 different series, starting at the beginning here. I just played a little bit to get used to this because, like I said, I haven't played anything Yu-Gi-Oh! Related in a long time. So when you go into a duel based on the original show story, you can either choose a story deck, you can create your own deck, or they have a few preset starter structure decks. So we're going to go into here, fight Bandit Keith, using the story deck. Now these decks are really, really bad, because they're based off what was used in the show, but if anybody ever watched the show, they didn't always go by the real rules, so their decks were kind of weird, and they could be expensive monsters you'd never want to play, like Summon Skull, that you can see in my hand here, and it's, sometimes some of these matches can be actually a little tough, because the deck quality, and when you first play, you don't know what's in your deck or anyone else's, your opponents or anything. So if you ever want to make it easier, you have to build your own deck, of course. But I always like to try the story deck, and if things don't work out, maybe go somewhere else. Now, how the creating the decks works is you get points every game of Yu-Gi-Oh! You play, whether in story or there's an online mode as well. And you get these points, you can use them to buy packs, and there's even other modes, like sealed deck, where you get, a few, one set of cards, and you can build your deck from that, and you can also keep those to make your own decks. Now during the story mode, which you're seeing here, you can have more than, one copy of a card. For instance, the Forbidden Limited list in Yu-Gi-Oh! I might not know what it is now, I knew it 10 years ago or whatever, but you can have 3 copies of anything or whatever. You can have, I think even more than 3, which goes against the normal rules. So they don't follow any rules. They kind of go like the show, except they eliminate, you'd see in the show, maybe someone play a Blue Eyes White Dragon without sacrificing anything or something. It's not like that. You have to sacrifice, but you can't have multiple copies of cards and stuff like that. So here, some of these cards I never even really used to, but see, I can get this Dark Magician out of my hand if I want here and go really aggressively, but I don't know what my opponent has, so again, I don't know what's in these decks. So if he has Mirror Force, and I run into a trap, it's really gonna suck. So I just play it safe and try to take out Bandit Keith here. So yeah, it goes through all the phases that you just expect a card game like this. It's not as fast, obviously, as something like Hearthstone, which was made for a digital format. It's based off of the traditional card games rules, so you have to go through phases, and it makes the game a little slower, obviously, but to get the authentic experience, it's the way it has to be. So yeah, we're just gonna go for it now. Last turn we attacked and we got through pretty easily, so we're just gonna go balls to the wall now and try to kill him. He's at 1500 life points, so it seems like this one's over. Yeah, and against the computer in the story mode, you're pretty much in a position where you get those strong monster on the board, they have a hard time coming back, because these decks are not amazing. So again, we can just attack him with the Dark Magician. He looks like he's dead here. Yeah, so easy peasy. Like I said, sometimes the story mode ones you don't win. And through these cutscenes, they tell you the story of the original show. You move it through it pretty quick, obviously, but so here's the rewards. So you get a reverse duel, so you can play that story mode duel in reverse. You get to play as Bandit Keith against Yugi. You unlock his deck, like a preset deck, some card rewards, so you can put those in like when you want to create your own deck. And then there's the victory duel points, and those are what you use to buy your packs. And we'll try that out. So here's the packs that I have so far, and you can see I have like 26,000 points there. These packs are around 400, so pretty reasonable. As long as you play the game a lot, you should be able to knock a lot of packs. We'll buy one of these here. We'll go for a Bakura pack. Witch of the Black Forest is pretty good. And like I said, there's no forbidden or limited list, so in my own deck, I could just throw that right in there. A lot of those cards I don't recognize from my day. So we'll jump back into the campaign here. And as you can see, we unlock the next one, Battle City Begins, so that story arc in the show. But we'll try to do a reverse duel. Oh, and I think I hit X instead of square, so I'll have to back out real quick here. Yeah, it's been pretty weird kind of going back and seeing Yu-Gi-Oh! After all these years away. I got into it when it first began, in North America at least. Like right on like season 1, like I got the very first starter deck, or starter decks, which were, like Kaiba's deck with Blue Eyes White Dragon as the ultra rare and all that. Or was it, yeah, or was it super rare in the pack? But anyways, yeah, so I remember them all the way back then. Then I started going into started trying out a local tournament as years later. And I won my local like every week, and I was like, all right. So that's when I started to go into some regionals. Like I said, I think I stopped when I was around 12, or was it a little older? Now it's probably around 12. So yeah, so a lot of the people that were really good in a lot of the big events were actually a lot older than that. But like I said, I started when I was playing the game when I was probably 8. Maybe I would say maybe it was between like 8 and 13 or something. I'm not sure exactly. 8 and 13, maybe 9 to 13 is more likely. And I think I had like 3 top 8s, qualified nationals those 3 times, and really liked it back then. I stopped playing when Upper Deck, was forced out. They had the issue with Konami and all that, and so Upper Deck stopped doing the tournaments, and the competitive circuit was kind of put on hold. And with my local shop closing down, pretty much all I had at that point was like I'd go to a regional and then maybe a Shonen Jump championship if it was within a reasonable distance, and not even all of them, of course, because it took a lot of time and effort and all that. And so like once the competitive circuit was down, I kind of was like, it took a little while, and I already was kind of getting out of it slightly, but I probably would have kept going, up to a point anyway. And I just eventually kind of gave up and all that. And I was like, all right, well, once I got out of it for a while and with no local thing to keep me consistently playing, it was basically, wait for the competitive circuit to get back going, and then still, like I said, even then, it's go to a regional every, 3 months maybe, as far as, one that was close to me. I forget what regionals were, if they were every other month or every 3 months. I think it was like it was dependent on the season, but generally I think I'd go every 2 to 3 months. But that was like it. So again, it's a regional, you want to do well. Want a top 8 or at least go 6-2. The ones I usually always went to were 8 rounds. And it just was like, if that's all you're playing of it, you know, like every 3 months, that's like, that's not enough to really keep going and to wanna, you know, every time a new set releases to get the new cards and all that. It just wasn't enough motivation. So eventually got out of it and never got back into it. Like once in a while I would look at the Forbidden Limited list and see like, oh, what's up? Did anything crazy ever happen, you know? Did this so-and-so card ever, you know, get taken off the list? Did Yatagarasu ever get put back in the game or something, which I never expected it would? Certainly, but I just, you know, just out of curiosity, like, did cards change? Were cards that used to be completely broken now all of a sudden, were they okay based off the way things changed? So I'd check out once in a while. You know, I would notice weird things that back in my day would have been insane. Like, I noticed at some point, I don't know if it's still like that at this moment I'm talking about this, because like I said, I'm not in the scene, but I remember at some point, like, seeing, like, cards like Mystical Space Typhoon being, you know, put back to unlimited and stuff like that. And I think when I was playing, it was like it was restricted for like a long run. You could only run one copy of that, and one copy of like a lot of cards like Call of the Hunted and Torrential Tribute. I think those cards eventually changed, and you could run multiples of those. Magician of Faith. Those cards were, you know, like really, really good, like staples, in like every single deck back then. And I believe some of that has definitely changed. But yeah, so after getting out of it, I never really got close to being back in, I would say, at all. But I would occasionally check, and eventually I'd notice that anytime a card was forbidden or limited, it was something I never heard of. So I kind of gave up on that too. So as you can see, I'm actually losing on this side of the duel. Because like I said, these pre-made decks, they're not that great. You get a bad draw. You don't really know what you got in your deck. And you can certainly lose these story modes. It's not like automatic wins. I found that when you use a deck you create, you can win most of the time, for sure. You're going to have a very good win percentage if you create your own deck. Even if the cards you have aren't great, you know, you haven't got many packs, you can kind of come up with something better than they put in the story. Because like I said, the story was kind of... there was a lot of bad stuff in there. So yeah, so we're going to do... we're just pushing because we got nothing left. And I don't expect to win at this point. Throw the cards on the table and go. So yeah, when I saw this coming out, I was kind of like... huh, that's kind of neat. You know, like, I haven't played it in a long time. They go through the original show, which, as far as watching the Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, or the anime, or cartoon, whatever you want to call it, I only lasted... I've seen the entire of the original series, in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably multiple times as a kid. I never watched any of the series after. Like, I watched a little bit of the second one, which was that GX, I think, but very little. Like, I really don't have any memories or knowledge outside of maybe the first couple episodes, and then, like I said, that's long gone, any memory of that. But I could pretty much remember every single of the original series. And like I said, that pretty much was just a coincidence. I think that kind of timed with the Upper Deck years of organized play and all that. But yeah, this game, I've enjoyed it so far. You know, it's, like I said, it's a nice blast from the past if you're someone that doesn't currently play Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you currently do, I think it's still kind of a nice little thing. Now, some people have commented, you know, we're going to use Solomon Judgment here and stop his Monster Reborn since we don't have much left. Yeah, Solomon Judgment, when I played, I don't know if that's... I might be banned now, I don't even remember. It was like one of those cards you'd see in every side deck. I lost my train of thought when I was activating that trap card, man. So he's not drawing monsters here, but we're not drawing anything good either. I'm just gonna go for it. Like, I'm at 700 life points, so like I could die to anything decent attacking that, but Like, I think I just need to kind of rush and kill him. Oh, yeah, anyways, I was saying, I think even if you currently play Yu-Gi-Oh!, it's kind of nice to have something like this. You know, you can go through, if you watch any of the shows, I think it's pretty well, like, it's simple, you know, there's not the voice acting, and they go through it quickly, but they do kind of, like, summarize all the events, which is kind of neat. And you get to play through, like, even using the show decks, even though they suck, it's kind of, like, I remember watching the show it sometimes, you know, when I was a kid, you know, you don't notice it, but once I started actually playing competitively, you know, and became decent, I was like, man, these cards are using suck. Like, why are they using these? You know, like and some of these you thought there's no way anybody would ever win a duel with these, but you actually can. And then, like I said, when you see Mirror Force there. So now if he draws a monster, I am dead. Which we expected for a lot of turns now. We've actually survived a lot longer than I thought. Didn't draw one there. See, look at these. Like, that's level 5 monster, 1500 attack. Like, that's garbage. Like, why is it in there? If I had something to play, maybe I wouldn't die right here. Which, of course, he got top decks his 1500 attack monster. It's level 4. I get mine. Level 5, dead. Alright. But, like I said, you still get rewards. Consolation points, even, so you're good to go. So I haven't done the reverses yet. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is the second one. But you get points every game you play. So, like, getting packs, you're, like, always going to have enough to get a pack. I've been kind of doing the one side of the duel. Like I said, you can reverse duel. But I've just been focusing on the one and go back and do the others. So this is Battle City. This is the second season of the original show. I'm just going to go through it quickly here because if you don't know the story of the show, then I guess you might not want it spoiled. If you do, it's pretty simple. These are the rare hunters here. Battle City, you win your best cards up for grabs. And these guys are essentially, you know, out there to nab everyone's cards, and they're kind of, they don't play by the rules, let's say. Because their leader is not a good dude. And this was the season of the Egyptian god cards. Which, of course, you couldn't actually play in tournaments. But I do wonder if you can play them. Okay, see here. If you can play them in the show, like when Yugi gets his Egyptian god card, if we can use it. I haven't gotten that far yet, obviously. So this is pre-built deck. This is like, still don't have that great cards, but this is the best I can come up with. I wanted to show you here how much better these decks are, even when you don't have great cards. So we'll just play the Fire Ferret and Sakuretsu. Now we'll call the Haunted. Dust Tornado. Stalin. So Sakuretsu Armor was a card that, like I said back when I played, 2200 defense. I remember there was a big part of the meta game, like, I feel like multiple ban lists, like you saw 2 of them, so many of the decks, like just all of them. That was like the go-to trap card, as far as the ones that weren't limited. And Breaking the Magical Warrior was, at a point, like one of the best auto includes. And then I think it got banned completely. We'll Dust Tornado that set he made. Okay. And see, like, this is weird. Like, I didn't mean to hit the, do I want to activate second ability of setting a card? But I couldn't back out. I was hitting the circle button. It wasn't letting me back out. So I set the enemy controller anyway, even though I didn't want to. Now, one thing that's weird about this, and something some people have complained about, is this not being on PC. Now, because it's a Konami game, and being in Japan, a lot of the times developers aren't as into PC or don't think about it, at first anyway. But I admit it's like, this would have been nice on PC, because just card games, You want to kind of like, you see the glove there, like it's easier to just move that around with the mouse, I think. Um, Using the analog stick just to move up and down. It's kind of like typing when you have to type in a name with the analog stick on a controller. It's just kind of annoying. So I think this would have made a lot of sense on a PC. But I'm pretty happy with how it works. It could be a lot worse. You know, you can just hit, like at first I was moving the stick over to hit no, but you actually can just hit circle, or on Xbox One hit B, and it'll like move past those requests of, hey, do you want to place a card? So we're gonna man-eater bug to destroy this thing here. Stone statue of the Aztecs. That's a good kill. So yeah, we'll just play this Blazing Impachi. Like I said, still, my deck isn't amazing. Like I said, I'm still playing normal monsters like that. And here's something here. Yeah, the XYZ monsters. I believe... I don't want to cash that in right this second. I'm going to just check what this is. But I believe XYZ monsters weren't a thing when I stopped playing. And there have like a lot of things since then. Or if they were becoming thing. I'm not sure. Like, I don't think they were in the competitive game. I think they were mentioned in the show, or maybe they were becoming one, and like I read about it, but never actually went to a tournament after they became a thing. I'm not sure, but it's amazing, like the things that have changed since I played. Like I said, XYZ was not something when I went to tournaments, at least from my memory. And like Pendulum, I know there's like Pendulum summons, and there's something else I forget the name of. It's like tuner monsters or something, like a bunch of stuff that never had any idea of until I got this game. So I'm still like learning a lot about this XYZ, and like, should I even play this? Like, not totally sure, I guess. Yeah, like there were no cards like that were black. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the last set. I believe like the last big set that had an impact when I played was the one that like first introduced the elemental heroes. That's what my memory is saying. The elemental hero. And I think the last deck I played was at a Shonen Jump, and it was I made a Cyberstein like I guess like toolbox hybrid deck. So like it was like it had 2 copies of Cyberstein and like 2 copies of every combo, and then the rest was like a normal deck, and I could side deck out the entire Cyberstein portion of it for like a normal deck at the time. Like some people had used it, but it wasn't super common. So yeah, so even then, like Cyberstein wasn't completely banned back then, which I'm not sure if it is now, but I assume it is. I think it became not too long after, but I think that might have been the last tournament I ever went to. So yeah, it's a long time ago, some of these cards. So we can do another XYZ. We'll just go for the... Just go for the damage here. Because I don't know what is in these decks. Like, I remember from the show, this guy is his whole thing is summoning Exodia, which I think he has like 3 pieces of every bit of Exodia. And it was kind of cool in the story deck, in the very first duel, where you'd have Yugi against Kaiba. And in the show, obviously, he summons Exodia to beat Kaiba. And I was able to do that in this game. That was actually really cool, like playing that story deck. But yeah, when you can have a bunch of pieces of Exodia and have all that draw, that's pretty good. Although he discarded Pot of Greed, which either is really dumb, and he discarded Dark Hole, or he has... That's probably pretty dumb, because not every piece of Exodia, otherwise he would have already won. He has 5 cards. So yeah, I don't know if the AI is that great. It's hard to know. Like I said, I've lost with bad story decks, but discarding Pot of Greed and Dark Hole is not what you do in this situation if you're him, that's for sure. So yeah, he is totally dead. So like I said, that's a deck I built based off what I had, and it's way better. Like, you feel pretty confident. So that's another way to go about it. Like I said, I think you're better off playing with a story deck. See if you win the first game. If you don't, try it again. But eventually, if you have some bad luck or something, you could, use a pre-built deck of your own and pretty much win. So here Merrick's being a prick to me. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, we get the reverse duel, like I said, new deck, and the battle packs. Yeah, battle packs you get. There's a battle pack mode where you open up a bunch of cards and just go to battle with that, either online or against the AI. And then you get to keep those cards. And as you can see, I got a new card award, Dark Hole, and I already have a Dark Hole in my pre-built deck. Actually, looks like I have 2 in here. But what I can do is still add another one. Like I said, there's like no rules like that in the story, because that wasn't the way it was really handled, at least in the original Yu-Gi story, for sure. But when you go online, you have to play by the real rules. So yeah, overall, I gotta say my impressions as we kind of wrap it up here. Yeah, Mirror Force. Mirror Force was another one. Like, thinking about back when I played, like, it was banned most of the time. And when it was unbanned, it was like, oh man, Mirror Force, are you crazy? But I think I've seen it since then. If it's not unlimited, it got semi-restricted, so you can run 2 copies or something. Anyway, yeah, there is multiplayer, and then there's the battle pack thing. Multiplayer, you create a deck, and you can just, go to town. I don't want to do that. I might do that in the future if you like this video or want to see some Yu-Gi-Oh, excuse me. I'd be down to try it when I get some better cards that could actually play with some of your rules. But you can do sealed play and draft play. You draft 45 cards in 3 rounds of pack openings. And that, and sealed, your deck is made of 10 battle packs. And then you just go to battle, and you get to keep these cards. So these can be, I believe, played online, or you can take them in story mode, which is pretty cool. So here we get 2 of these, and it costs 2,000. As you can see, I have 28,000. I'm pretty early on in the first show, so you get a lot of this. It's not like completely nickel and dimed you there. You have quite a bit. So yeah, every show, I've had fun so far. If you guys liked the video, thumbs up, subscribe. If you want some more Yu-Gi-Oh, want me to see how it feels to get back into it a little bit online, not for realsies, but I'd be interested. Let me know. Maybe we'll do some battles online. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.